Job search anxiety is real. It can lead to depression, worry, and a feeling of inadequacy. Here's how you get past it. Hi, hello, and welcome to the podcast. My name is Kevin. I've applied to over 2,100 jobs and I still don't have one. Today, we're talking about job search anxiety. It's real. There's a good chance you have it. And I want to talk about how to get past it. But first, we need to talk about what it feels like and how to recognize if we have job search anxiety. If you're like me or most people who are looking for a job right now, there's a good chance that you have job search anxiety, job hunt anxiety, unemployment anxiety, whatever you want to call it. This is what it feels like. Are you having difficulty concentrating whenever you're trying to apply to jobs, whenever you're searching for them, whenever you're looking for something that might be a fit at a company that might be for you and a location that might work for you? Do you worry about it at night? Do you have sleepless nights, insomnia? I do. And it's hard to sleep sometimes. And it's really frustrating because then it kind of messes me up for the next day. I hate sleepless nights. Difficulty concentrating too. Like, I mean, do I have difficulty? What? Are you having panic attacks? If so, I'm going to go ahead and do the disclaimer here and say go see your doctor. I can't recommend anything because I certainly am not a doctor. But what does a panic attack feel like? I've had a couple in my life, and it's been when I was working in semiconductor and I had a large amount of responsibility running this R&D department inside of the fab in the clean room with hundreds of millions of dollars on the line of stuff that had never been worked on before. And it was my responsibility to make sure that it got done right and it got out the door. I would sit at my computer at my station just looking at my different monitors, just typing away, and sitting still, my heart rate would shoot through the roof. I mean, I with an Apple Watch on, I think I measured like 160 something beats per minute one time, but that was with me sitting still, like just thinking and worrying about stuff. That's what a panic attack looks like. If you're having those, go talk to your doctor. There's something you can do about it. Irritability is a symptom. What, you don't believe me? It totally is. What? Want to fight me? Do you have chronic worry? Do you? Do you like worry all the time? I'm really concerned if you do. Low self-esteem. That's also a symptom. Depression. Just depression. Feeling hopeless? Like there's nothing you can do? Procrastination. I'll talk about that later. Are you feeling overwhelmed? Like you just can't do enough? A lot of this anxiety comes because we don't know if we're going to hear back from the company that we just applied to. We took time out of our day to research this company, to find this job, to make sure that it was a fit. We buff out our resume, we send it off, we use whatever tricks we can think of to try to get past the applicant tracking software. And for those of you who are OG veterans of the job hunt, just like I am, I mean, we apply to so many each day, right? And it takes a lot of time. But for those people who are applying to just minimum jobs. Like if you are fresh into this job hunt and you're like, you know what, I found this one job that I'm going to apply to. Let me go ahead and shoot off my resume. Oh my gosh, are they going to get back to me? Like, will they hire me? Oh, I'm so excited. I'm thinking about it all the time. I got bad news for you. Chances are you have a 0.24% chance of having a first round interview. That's real numbers. Don't get so invested in it that it gives you that level of anxiety, because if you are so invested in just one job, if you're seriously looking, unless you know somebody at that company who can take your resume and physically walk it over to somebody and hand it to them, and even then, there's still a lot of requirements for you to go through applicant tracking software for you to apply to the same portal as everyone else, so that there's no unfair treatment. But to be so invested in a job, like this job is perfect for me and this is the one I want, you gotta burn that nerve right now, because it is not going to turn out the way that you want unless it's a very specific circumstance. So don't worry if you're going to hear back. As soon as you fire off that application, let it just leave your mind, because it is gone. You did everything that you can do and you did your best. And I know that you did, because the kind of people who are watching content like this, you're the kind of people who are really trying, who are seeking out new information, who want to know. So if you already submitted your resume, I know that you did your best. So thank you for doing that. Even if the company's not going to say it, I'm saying thank you for putting forth your best effort, because there's not enough people who do that, right? A lot of people just half-ass stuff, but not you. You're a champion. The other major reason that we have job search anxiety is because we're worried about the money. Where's the money going to come from? How am I going to be able to pay my bills? What am I going to be able to do going forward to support myself, my family, my dog, my hamster? How am I going to water my lawn so the HOA doesn't ride me, right? There's a lot of that stuff. How am I going to pay my car bill so that my car doesn't get repoed? I can't have that on my credit. These are legitimate concerns, and we all have them, and they've all gone through my head, except the hamster. I have a hedgehog. And while those are very real, very tangible concerns that will cause job search anxiety, another one that I don't think gets talked about enough is it kind of touches on the feeling of inadequacy, or at least that's where the feeling comes from, is a sense of purpose. Whenever you have a job, you have a sense of purpose. You are going somewhere every day, you are doing something, or at least you're logging in on your computer every day to do something. You make your accomplishments, you get them done. You can turn them in once they're shipped and they're pushed across the finish line. You can see that it's done. And if you have a good boss, you're getting some positive feedback. Chances are you probably don't have a good boss, especially if you're job hunting while you're still employed. At least whenever you get that done, whenever you finish a project or when you complete a task or whenever you build something, you have a sense of accomplishment. And that's what makes you feel adequate, makes you feel like you have a sense of purpose. But whenever you're not working, it can lead to more anxiety centered around the job search. So we don't have control over if we're going to get hired or not. We're already doing our best by putting forth our best resume, setting our best foot forward, and we're networking. That's out of our hands. Whether the company contacts us or not, that's not up to us. So what do we do? How can we fight this feeling of anxiety that we get while we're in this seemingly endless job hunt? I have a few ways here of how you can feel better while you're in this job search that's going to kind of combat this job search anxiety that you're feeling, just like I'm feeling. Some of them I've done and they've worked for me. Number one on my list is exercise. Of course, that's probably the first thing that you thought of. At least I hope it was. Exercise is very important to me. Whenever I don't have any injuries, I'm in the gym 6 or 7 days a week for a couple hours just because I enjoy it so much. But whenever you exercise, I'm not going to go into all the benefits of it. You know, it releases endorphins, it gives you energy, it makes you feel better and stronger, and you have more stamina, and you just feel better all throughout the day whenever your body is fit. Go to the gym, go run. If you live somewhere where the weather's nice, get outside and go run. It's so nice to be outside in nature running, and it clears my head. Sometimes I'll do that when I get really stressed, even if the weather's bad. I'll get outside and go for a run. Just nothing big, maybe, 3 miles or something. And if 3 miles is a lot to you, start with something smaller. You can start with a mile or a half mile, or you can start even walking. If you have access to a gym, I highly recommend lifting. Lifting has so many benefits long term for your body. It's going to fight old age. It's going to fight osteoporosis. It's going to keep you from having a trick back that goes out every time that you sneeze or put a sock on. Work on your core, work on every muscle group, find a split that works for you, back and biceps, chest and triceps. I do a vertical split some days where I do legs and shoulders, right? There's tons of resources available. And while this is called We're Moving Forward and I focus on moving forward in the job hunt, it's also going to be kind of about moving forward in all areas of life. And fitness is one of them that I'm going to talk about later, but I have too much job search stuff to get out right now. So I'm not going to get into that at this point. Go to the gym, go run. Another thing I've done to combat the anxiety that I get from job searching is gaming. Because whenever you play a video game, it's an escape from the real world and it gives you something where you can actually have a sense of accomplishment, even though it's not real and tangible in the real world and it's not going to get you paid unless you're, you know, Ninja or PewDiePie. Playing a game gives you a chance to complete a task and make you feel like you've done something. Now, don't waste your entire day on it. Don't wake up and start gaming and play for, 10, 12, 15 hours straight. I mean, every once in a while, it's probably okay to do that. I mean, I've done it before. It's enjoyable, but you don't want to waste your life away doing it. But if you are feeling inadequate and you need a break from reality because the job hunt is so harsh on you, pick up the PlayStation controller, not the Xbox, and maybe a Nintendo Switch or whatever, even mobile games on your phone. Does anyone play Candy Crush anymore? Time with family is very important. I spend time with my daughter as much as I can. I try to get her out of the house. She is a newly minted teenager, so that teenage angst is starting to come through, and so we're not doing as much stuff as we used to. But I still try. I'm still trying to get her out to do stuff, rock climbing or uh, going for a walk along the river or around the neighborhood or something, right? Even if I'm just playing games with her in the living room or watching TV with her or a movie or whatever, spend time with your kids, spend time with your spouse or your girlfriend or whoever makes you feel happy. Do that. Spend time with them. Get hugs. Hugs are very important for combating depression. Like there's clinical studies of it. I don't know. Go Google it. Get out in nature. Nature is wonderful. Nature has positive effects on your outlook on life, on your mental state, on the way that you feel about yourself. Just getting out and being in nature. Listen to classical music if you want to while you're walking around. That's another thing that does it. It just naturally does it. It will make you feel better about yourself. It'll take your mind off other things. Start by walking around your neighborhood. I live in the Pacific Northwest. There's tons of great areas to go hiking in out here. I mean, waterfalls for days out in the Columbia River Gorge. If you haven't visited out here, come out here and go hike the Columbia River Gorge if you get a chance. It's absolutely wonderful. Joaquina Falls Loop is my favorite. You might see me out there. Music, listen to it. If you're listening on an audio format, Spotify or Amazon Music or Apple Podcasts, you have access to music on your phone with you right now. Like listen to some music that'll make you feel better. I wouldn't recommend depressing, like down music, like emo kind of music or anything, something happy and uplifting. Might I suggest K-pop? If you haven't listened to K-pop, three of my recommendations: G Idol, they're awesome. I saw them in concert a couple weeks ago. Billy, that's with three L's, Billie, and XG, who they're Japanese, but they're under a K-pop label. Anyway, it's uplifting, fun, happy music. Listen to that. It might make you feel better, or whatever music that you're into, hip hop or rock or country. Just stay away from the depressing stuff. It's not going to help anybody. Or if you play music, that's a fantastic way. It keeps your mind busy. It helps you better yourself at a hobby or a skill. Like it's all sorts of good things. It's good for your brain. It gives you something that you enjoy. It's working on a skill. It gives you a sense of purpose. And then you have a feeling of adequacy after you get done because you're like, I just did that. I play the viola, not so much as recently, but I am considering picking it back up again and starting to play again. Spend time with your pets, cuddle with them, pet your pets, take them on walks, throw the ball, find a game, play hide and seek with them or something. I don't know. It's whatever you do with your pet. It's fun. There's a reason there's so many pets that are emotional support animals is because they really do support you. So take advantage of that if you have a dog or a cat or a hedgehog. I highly recommend your local humane society. If you don't have a pet and you're looking for one, go to the Humane Society and get one. And the last thing I'm going to recommend that you do to feel better about this job search anxiety is track your job hunt. That way, you know what realistic expectations to have. That's something that I've done since I started this job hunt. And that's how I know that I've applied to exactly 2,181 jobs as of right now. That's how I know that I have a 0.55% chance of getting a phone screener every time that I submit a resume. That's also how I know that I have a 0.28% chance. Sorry, that's a correction from earlier. There's a 0.28% chance that I'm going to get a first round interview each time I submit a resume. So I don't get my hopes up. I know exactly what it is. I know the reality of the situation. I don't get up in my head thinking, are they going to email me? Are they going to call me? Am I going to hear from them? Oh my gosh, do I get a second date? Because I know what to expect after I hit send on that application. And that keeps me in check. And that keeps my emotions in check. So I'm not too invested. One final way to feel better after having job search anxiety is to just relax. And I mean, that can be watching TV, whatever. But one thing I want to talk about is the benefits of using a hot tub. If you have a hot tub, go use it. I mean, you put money into it, go use it. If you don't have a hot tub and you did join a gym, you can go to the gym and you can use their hot tub too. I mean, there's a lot of people that use those. So, it's use your own discretion. But what I did is I got some advice. I was looking into buying a hot tub a couple years ago and somebody said, don't spend $10,000 on one. This is while I was gainfully employed, by the way. He said, don't spend $10,000 on one because a lot of people will buy like a full size, like big hot tub and then never use it. And they're like, why did I spend this money on it? So this person said, get one of those little inflatable ones, right? You can get them on Amazon for relatively cheap. That's what I have. It's sitting on my back patio. It is fantastic. The water's 104 degrees. It feels great. It has a bubble jet in it too. It's relatively inexpensive. If you have a couple bucks, I recommend picking one up. I'm actually going to just, I will put a link. It is an affiliate link. I think I have to disclose that. But there's an affiliate link that's going to be in the description below to the exact hot tub that I have. Right now, as I'm recording this, I'm looking at it here on Amazon. It's $549. I think I've had it for 3 years, and I've had minimal issues with it. Just swap out the filter, swap out the, chlorine tablets, but it's been great. It really helps me relax after a long day of driving Uber or of sitting in my chair here and applying to jobs that I'm never gonna get. So, if you are so inclined, please use my link below. It'll help me out a little bit. So, all of those are great ways that we can deal with the emotional turmoil of the anxiety that is caused by our never ending job search. What are the root causes of that? There's two of them: having a sense of purpose and money. Having a sense of purpose is very important because it makes us feel like we're accomplishing something, like we're worth something, like we're doing something with our lives. And whenever we don't have a job and we constantly get rejected from jobs over and over, we're moving forward with more qualified candidates. We're moving forward with more qualified candidates. We're moving forward. Whenever you start seeing that all the time, you really start to worry about your worth as a person. I went through that. I went through some seriously deep depression stuff. There was actually months where I would not send an application for the entire month because I was like, what is even the point of me trying? But now that I track it and I know what's going on, I don't let that get to me as much. Since we feel this lack of a sense of purpose, since we don't feel like we're adequate or we're doing enough or we have value, that's one of the root causes of the anxiety. And what we can do to give ourselves that sense of purpose again. And these are just some of the ideas that I've had. Feel free to find your own, something along these lines. But the first is fitness. Whenever you go to the gym constantly or you go for a run constantly, you get to see yourself getting better every single day. So it might be 1% each day. It might be a half a percent each day, but every single day you're getting better. You know, you could start off walking to the end of the block and back. And by next week, you're walking around the block. And in a month, you just ran a half mile at a light jog. And then 6 months from now, you could complete a half marathon, right? We see ourselves getting better every time. And it's something that we have a metric for. It can be distance run, it can be time that we ran, it can be the amount of weight that we lifted, it can be total volume of weight. If you go to the gym and you lift, there's an app called Set Graph that I use. And if you download that, I paid for it, I think one time. I can't remember what it was. It was like maybe $30 or something. But I paid for it one time, and then it lets me track every single thing that I do in the gym. I'm able to input my exercises, see how much I lifted last time, how many sets, how many reps. So every time that I go to the gym and I get done, I can go back and I can look at that data and I can say, look at how I improved today. I am better today. I accomplished something and that makes me feel good. And so that's one way to get around this job search anxiety. Another is the gaming. So I kind of talked about it earlier. You start playing a video game and you start from scratch and then you build your character and make them stronger, or you build whatever it is that you're doing, or you are doing PvP, player versus player, and you're trying to improve your kill death ratio, your KD. And so it's something that we can track. It's a metric that we have. It's something that we can see where we're accomplishing something, and then we can feel better about that. And that gives us a sense of purpose because we have something that we have to do. Content creation is another one, which is this is a great example of what I'm doing here. My sense of purpose now comes from this passion that I have about explaining to you and to everybody who wants to listen to me about how companies are posting fake jobs and about how hard the job market is right now and everything that comes with it. And I want everyone to know that they're not alone. Talk to other people in the comments, join the subreddit. Descriptions are down below. This is a good time to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm trying to build a community. It's mostly on Reddit, and we're there for each other, looking out for each other, reporting companies that are posting jobs that aren't even real, which, screw us up because we're wasting so much time applying to jobs we're never going to get. But if there's something that you're passionate about, something that you feel that you're an expert in, or something that you're doing that's new and you want to share your progress with people, start a YouTube channel or a TikTok if that's what you're into, or an Instagram or whatever. If you want to become a better photographer, whatever, that's a good way that you can feel a sense of accomplishment, is by doing and getting better and sharing it with people, because you're going to get positive feedback for the most part. There's going to be some negative, but you will get mostly positive feedback. But don't even look at the feedback. Do it for you, right? That's the whole reason you're doing it, is for you, because it's something that's going to make you feel better. It's going to give you a sense of purpose, right? Today, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to go on a hike, which is one of the things that's good for you. I'm going to take 200 pictures. And when I get done, I'm going to pick out the best 10, come back home, put them in Photoshop, and I'm going to learn how to do Photoshop. I'm learning a new skill, which kind of leads us into the next thing. Learning a new skill is another way that we can get a sense of purpose. So if there's something that you are okay with, but you want to be better at, like a musical instrument is one that I mentioned before, or if you want to be a better cook, like find some recipes. It doesn't have to be anything expensive. You can even do it once a week if money's tight. Go out and find something where you can make a good meal. It can even be really easy stuff like Campbell's casserole. There's a recipe on like the cream of mushroom soup thing. Start cooking, make yourself food so that you're not always eating Carl's Jr. or White Castle or McDonald's or whatever, right? Start cooking, get better at that. That'll make you feel good. And you can find some healthy recipes that are going to be good for your fitness too. Baking is another one. That's the one that I do. I used to watch Cake Boss a lot back in the day, and I'd watch it and be like, you know what? I think I could do that. And so here's some images of cakes that I've made. I'm pointing. I don't know. I'm going to put some of these photos in here and in post. That's the editing software. So there's some cakes that I made. I love making cakes. It's fun. I love the sculpting with the fondant. I like challenging myself with it. So that's something that I'll do on occasion, although that can get kind of expensive because the supplies and the fondant and whatever else, they're not cheap. Another great way to have a sense of purpose is to further your education. And that's going to help you in the job search too, potentially, depending on what you want to do. Now, you can go to college. I have 5 degrees. I spent 10 years in college. That is not something that I would advocate for. I actually don't want my daughter to go to college because I feel at this point in time, it's a waste of time and money. That is a topic for a completely different time. If you're into college, yes, please go do it, right? Especially if it's something where you have to have a degree, like being a nurse or a doctor or an engineer or something to that effect. If that's what your passion is, go do it. But don't go to college just to go to college. If you want to acquire a skill where you're able to make money in the real world and you want to learn it in a formal education setting, might I recommend you use Salesforce.com. It's something that I looked at and I started getting into it. But I mean, the distraction, difficulty concentrating, it's not really what I want to do. But Salesforce.com has a program called Trailhead, and you can go and you can join Trailhead, and it will teach you the Salesforce.com software from the very beginning, and it's completely free. I think you just have to pay for the tests. Anyway, you can look into that if you want to, or we could talk about it deeper in another podcast at another time. Another one is Google Analytics 4 just came out, and Google Analytics is also free training through, if you just Google Analytics 4 training, it's going to come up and it's free. I think you have to pay for certifications in that too, but that's something that you can do with your time that'll allow you to have a sense of purpose and possibly help you get a job. So go do it, go look into it. Or you can do what I'm doing, and that's going the entrepreneurial route. Again, we're moving forward is meant to be a general concept that applies to all areas of life. So I'm moving forward in my professional career right now by trying to do some entrepreneurial things. I'm hoping they work out. I might start another channel around it. More to come on that later. But if you have a business that you want to do, if you want to try drop shipping, if you want to build a website, go ahead, go do that. And if you do build a website and you are being entrepreneurial, that's something that you can do and make money, which leads us to the final and the biggest topic of the whole thing about job search anxiety is what am I going to do for money? Of course, you can build a website and you can sell products on there. Or if you don't want to build your own website, you can also sell products on websites like Cafe Press or Redbubble if you're into design. I have a couple things posted on there too, and I've made probably a couple $100 over the years just doing some ridiculous artwork and uploading it to Redbubble. But I want to talk about actual side hustles, and I'm going to do another podcast on this later. I think I'm going to call it something like how the gig economy saved my life or something to that effect. We'll see. But as far as making money without having a job, it's kind of nice right now because it's very difficult to find a job right now, but side hustles are fairly easy to come by. I'm going to talk about a handful of them right now. There's Instacart where you go grocery shopping for people. I think you can just do it in the store too and like take it to the pickup thing. I don't know if you have to deliver it or not, but Instacart is one. I know people who've made money doing that. Amazon Flex, if you have a car and there's an Amazon warehouse in your area, check the Amazon Flex website. You just you sign up, you go pick up packages. I think they give you a blue vest to wear while you're doing it, and then you just drive around to people's neighborhoods and deliver Amazon packages. That makes about 20 bucks an hour. There's Upwork if you have any computer skills that translate to being able to do projects online or work remotely, creating stuff in Excel, creating PowerPoints, digital imaging, design, any of that stuff. Upwork and Fiverr to a lesser extent. Fiverr, I think, is cheaper. You get paid less on that. But go to upwork.com, go to fiverr.com. That's Fiverr. And you can find people who need work done, and they will pay you to do this work, and it's all virtual. There's also Rover, which is an app that you can get. And I have a friend who did this, and she was making $6,000 a month doing the Rover app. And the Rover app, it's dog walking, dog sitting, pet sitting, essentially. So she owned her home. I can't do it here because where I am right now, I'm renting, but she owned her home. And so she was able to have as many dogs there as she wanted. She was watching, I think, 9 or 10 dogs at a time each month. And she was making about $6,000 a month just staying at home watching people's dogs. Check out Rover. That might be a good thing for you. Then there's handyman apps like Taskr and Thumbtack. I'm on Taskr, which is the service providing side of TaskRabbit. So if you're in the Portland area and you go on TaskRabbit and you need some work done, you might get a chance to have me come through. Right now, I'm doing electrical work where I can hang ceiling fans or lights. If that's something in your wheelhouse, do that. It pays $60 an hour roughly in this area. You can build furniture, hang TVs on the wall. You can run errands for people. You can do laundry for people. If you don't have any tools, but you have a car, even if it's an old clunker, you can sign up just to do IKEA furniture builds, and all the tools are usually included in the package that comes with it, just the Allen wrenches and stuff. So, and that pays per job. So, to build a chest of drawers, you might make, $110 or something. Thumbtack, which I recently heard about, is a very similar thing to TaskRabbit. I have not looked into it, but they offer the same stuff. I know on TaskRabbit, you can even go in there and you can wait in line for people for $25 an hour to just stand in line. Anybody can do that. So if you're having worries about making money, you could be standing in line for someone making money to help provide for your family. Then, of course, there's Uber and Uber Eats. Now, Uber Eats is easier to get into because the car that you have to have for that, the regulations are not as strict. So you can start delivering food around to people, start making money doing that, within a day or two. You can even go shopping. You go through the grocery store and it has like a checklist, and then you go through and you click off the checklist thing, and then they give you like a card, like a Visa card, and then you go and you pay for it at the end, and then you go deliver it. So it doesn't matter what kind of card you have. You can do that in whatever car. You can deliver Taco Bell or whatever fast food in whatever car, and you can make money doing that. It used to be about $18 to $20 an hour roughly when I was doing it, but fast food is no longer fast. So it might look good, like you're going to make $10 to deliver this food real quick, but you might be in line for 45 minutes. So it might be like $10 an hour. That is when I made the switch to driving people with Uber. And I'm going to do a whole podcast on this, like I said. But Uber has been actually pretty wonderful for me. I've met people and networked and gotten resumes submitted, handed directly to the hiring manager from people who have been in my car who I've just talked to for a little bit. It's been incredible. But I usually make between $25 and $30 an hour doing Uber. So if you have any desire to do Uber, I'm just going to read this real quick. The requirements are that you have a 4-door car that's in good condition, clean title. It has to be 15 years old or newer, and it has to be able to pass an inspection. If you have a car that fits those parameters, you could be out driving Uber by next week, and those money troubles, they're going to go away. I'm going to share real quick on here how much I've made doing Uber and doing TaskRabbit. So in the month of August, I made $3,551.67 for a total of 65 and a half hours that I worked. And that was with TaskRabbit. That's $3,500. I mean, that covered my rent and it gave me extra money too. And so I typically try to go out and do TaskRabbit during the day. And in the evenings, I'll go and I'll do Uber to make up the rest of the money. On a typical night for Uber, I make at least $150. But I've made as much as almost $300 in a night too. There's a handful of good options for you if you need to do the gig economy thing, if you need to do the side hustle thing. Oh, one thing before I forget, appen.com, appen.com. I don't know how good it is because I haven't used it yet, but maybe look into it. It's they want you to like take surveys and test out software and whatever else. I heard that's a good way to make money. Check it out for yourself. I know nothing about it. Look into it. Maybe let me know. And if you do decide to do TaskRabbit, I'm going to go ahead and put my code in the description of the podcast, in the description of the video down below. If you decide to go ahead and join TaskRabbit and be a tasker, it's going to help you anyway. But if you use my code whenever you sign up, then it's going to help me too. And then we'll be helping each other. So you're going to be able to make some money and be able to not have to worry about money coming in. But then you're also going to be able to help me keep the lights on here and to pay for the stupid phone that's behind me. Same thing goes with driving for Uber, whether it's Uber or Uber Eats. If you could just use my code whenever you sign up, it's if you're going to do it anyway, just use my code and then it helps me out too. So if you're driving Uber, if you're doing TaskRabbit, then you're making money for yourself, which is going to be great. And all you have to do is just use my code to say that I sent you over, and then it's going to help me out too, so I can keep doing what I'm doing, spend time researching and helping everybody to figure out how to get through this job hunt. So now that our money's taken care of, we don't have to worry about our financial situation as much anymore while we're in this job hunt. And while we know what to do to make ourselves feel better or to get a sense of accomplishment or to get past this emotional anxiety that we have focused around this job hunt, I think that puts us in a great spot where we're able to figure out what we have to do moving forward. And on that note, we're moving forward to the next episode, and I'll see you there.